Welcome back to Copperhead Customs. Today we're back working on our 38 Chevy and we've got a hell of a lot to do. So if you want to see what we do, you better stick around. So yes, welcome to Copperhead Customs. For the newbies, this is a 38 Chevy built by Holdens. Yes, that's right, built by Holdens. These telltale ribs on the roof are a sign of the Holden built cabs that they built for multiple car manufacturers. And this one is something we are attempting, with a capital A, to build for $5,000. 5,000 Australian, not a lot. Yes, so this is one of our budget builds that we're doing here on the channel. So, like I said, it's a 38 Chev cab, but it's on a 33 Chevy chassis that we have boxed in, and we've put a Holden HT front end in it, a Mitsubishi diff with a 4-bar. We have a Dodge bonnet and a Dodge Novestone, 32 Ford headlights. I'm pretty sure this originally came from a T-bucket before we modified it. These, we have no idea what they come from. And we've put a Holden 202 cubic inch straight 6-cylinder with twin carbies. And if you haven't gathered by looking at it, the theme of this build is making it from the road signs and from spanners and tools and shifters. Hence our 2.5 foot long gear shifter. So there is a quick recap. We're getting very close to this being completed, and in today's episode we have a heap of odd jobs to do. So in the last episode we did all the flooring and the trans tunnel, we lined the roof, etc., plus a heap of other stuff, but we concentrated on the interior was the main part of that. Now we've got some more jobs to do in here. The dash itself, I've got a couple of little tricks now. There was a little bit of rust in it, so that's been repaired now, but it will not blend very well. So I've come up with a bit of one of my harebrained ideas, and that is that we are going to use underbody paint, as in the bitumen type paint. Yes, I know that's out there. We're going to paint the whole dash in the black. Then I'm going to paint the dash in red. I don't know. This could be a big stuff up, but that's what I'm thinking. So anyway, we've got some out there ideas on the dash. Then I've also got some signs I may put over the top of that afterwards. We've also got some number plates I want to put on the top of the windscreen. Also got some perspex sheeting to do our back window, and we'll try to also install our front windscreens. We have new Nolithane bushes to mount onto our front 4-bar mount. We also need to do a couple of new nuts on the back of our suspension. Back on the interior, we've got to mount our seat and do our cab mounts up. And also, I've been looking at our hard lid. Now, we did this hard lid a fair while ago, and as nice as it looks, we did one on our Oakland the other week. Now, if you haven't seen that, when you finish this, go and check it out, because the hard lid is jaw-droppingly good. But what we did is we spray painted on our logo. Yeah, that doesn't sound real good, does it? No. But then we die grinded it into the wood, hit it with a torch and burnt it, sanded it down, and then restained it. And it looks so nice. I think I'm going to do it to this one as well. So I think we will attempt to do that in this episode. And while we're there, I think all these hinges and straps that are on here need to probably be painted black. Then we'll go from the back to the front. And we'll try to finally get our nose cone mounted correctly and put our bonnet tie-down latches on. And there's probably more that I've forgotten, and we will get to them as well. So if some of that, any of that, or all of that sounds of interest, you may want to stick around and enjoy the show. And with all that said, now let's get on to doing some work. So yes, as I said, our first job's going to be in here on the dash. Now I've taken all the gauges and switches out, so it's going to be pretty hard with the lighting in here. We will get underway, and I will see you when I come back. Alright, Rooney, we are back, and we've got some good news and some bad news. Good news, we have done some beautiful things in here. So we've made this pretty cool looking little, well, I suppose you'd say it's a glove box. We're not going to put a lid. I think we're going to leave it open like that. I've used a 20km/h speed sign. I think that looks pretty good. So when you would have seen, I folded that up, aluminium sign, pop riveted it in the back, and tech screwed it on in there, and then we just painted the heads of the tech screws red to blend in. There's going to be people that are hating what I've done here, but there is a reason, okay? Now, as you can see, this is pretty chewed out, and there was rust holes. There was some ones that we repaired with the metal, but it was very, very badly pitted, like very badly pitted through here and rusted. Basically, I fiberglassed it all. Honestly, didn't want to spend 2 days in here on the dash, fiberglassing, bogging, sanding, to then have to paint it. So I was going to lose my real patina that we had in here anyway, because of all the work that was happening up the top. So my logic was, we fiberglassed it all, we scuffed it down pretty roughly, then I used the bitumen paint and ran it with the bitumen paint. Now it's still soft in a few spots, it's still drying, and then painted it red. So it is a bit of an out there idea, but bear with me. So we then had this was an original piece out of it. I don't quite know what it was. It's AAA automatic, the AAA automatic. I think this could have been for this cab. Originally had a, not sure what you call it, but it's one of those drives. It drives off the motor and it ran a winch. That's what this originally had, a P something. I don't know. You'll know what it is. Drop it in the comments what it is, what I'm trying to say. A P something drive. Anyway, I think this could have been to drive this maybe. So it has on here petrol saver, on, off, and brake. So I'm gathering that's maybe was something to do with that. I made this little arrow up. We've actually got a bolt, double bolt. I ground a bolt head down, welded a little arrow onto it, painted it red, and we polished it up and bolted that back in. I think that looks pretty trick. I bought this little snake, little brass snake, off of one of those China shops on the internet for like, I don't know, $1 or something. I thought that was pretty groovy, so we pop riveted that on. And we bought from the same place in China, we bought this ignition switch. So we've put that in, and this will be our little key. So we'll go get a key ring later. But yeah, so we put them on. I also, from the same shop in China, I bought this Corona stubby opener, bottle lid opener. I thought that looked pretty trick sitting that there. We then ran another batch of number plate signs up across the top, which was always the plan, was to run them across there. Immediately we will have to drill a hole, I think it's about here, for our windscreen wiper motor will get mounted there. So yeah, we've done our glove box, we've done that. It's all like pretty good. Then if you see where my big hoof is I've just shoved a sign there and there, and I think I'm going to put signs and number plates, etc., across the front there. We'll probably just glue them all in. I think that's what we're going to do up there, because I think that looks way better than having showing the Bulldog Underdog soundproofing stuff. Now, if you've ever used this soundproofing stuff, it's pretty good gear. If you can hear that, that's me banging on the top of the roof. That roof now, when you touch it, feels like it is that thick. It is just so solid, and it's just so good. Like, there's no tinny noise in there. It actually feels like it is about 2 inches thick, that roof. So I will say that soundproofing stuff is pretty cool, and if you're thinking about using it, you should. So yeah, I think we're going to number plate and sign that. Check it out, eh? It's pretty good in that. This is pretty good. So anyways, I'm probably looking bad through the light there. We'll look at it that way. Now, so that's all the good news. We're at in that. So we're going to, next step is we'll probably look at the firewall, I would say. But the bad news, we're up to the bad news. Now, if you see, I've actually done my back in, so there's one of the bad newses. But the bad news is, I was sitting in here yesterday, I drilled the mounts for the seat, and I come and sat in the seat. I got a steering wheel out, tried to work out approximately where to drill the hole in the firewall for the steering column, and I felt so cramped and I couldn't see. My head's hitting the roof now. I was having to do this to look out the windscreen. It was not comfortable at all in here anymore, especially holding the steering wheel. But that seat was made for my 32 Ford originally. The door, so I'm a little bit bummed about what I have to say here. So that seat was originally made for my 32 Ford. When we originally put it in here, it was sitting on the chassis and it was okay. Then it was actually pretty good. Then I channeled the cab and it was passable. But then by the time we've put the floor in and we've as narrow as we've kept that, it's still chewed a bit more and all these little bits have added up to the point where my head's on the roof. I can hardly see out the windscreen at all. My vision is like this. It's not looking out the windscreen. My eyesight's actually up in the number plate area. So my vision is like this. This is basically where my vision is. And I have to like tilt my head down and stuff like that to look. Now, this is where I'm looking out sitting now. So like here you go. Now you're on zoom out. But yeah, my head eye level is basically here now, like perfectly. And yeah, but it was up. I was up there sitting on that seat. Now, you can't really drive like that. So, not to mention I was very cramped because the seats pushed me forward. So I was cramped with the steering wheel, the pedals, everything. I didn't like it. So what I've decided to do is we are going to scrap the seat. It can probably go maybe in the Plymouth or in something else, which is a bit of a bummer because the seat was matching, like with the tassels and our little thing, all of that matched. I think at this stage we're going to keep running the door cards. We're not going to lose the door cards, but that is an option that we drop the door cards as well and do something different. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 seats out of a 44-gallon drum. So if you look out there, you'll see we've got 2 44-gallon drums out there. So I've got one, and I should be able to do them all out of one, but I'm going to make 2 little bucket type seats out of them. Mount them either on the floor. We may actually kick the front up. I don't know. We'll just see how we go, but we'll cut them down, put them on. We'll run a rubber seal around the outside. We will then make a cushion and we'll see what we put on it. The interior is evolving. The car's changing in my head now, so this is a bit of an issue. Is the car starting to change a bit in what I had pictured. But I do have some more of this red leather, I think. I think I've got a couple of big squares made with some black crocodile, and I think it has a bit of the red suede and the red leather, and so we could use that to do the cushion tops, or yeah, who knows, we'll come up with something, and then we'll see how much padding we need across the back, if we need any. And so basically we will sit where I am now, like maybe a tiny bit higher, but that is my plan. And this is comfy. I have leg room, as you can see. My leg is fully stretched out, so we're sitting on the floor, but I think and sitting in here, it's pretty cool sitting down this low. Like you know, my shoulder is at door level, so it's probably going to actually look pretty damn groovy as well, seeing this tiny little hot rod cruising around, and we're going to be right down in it really low, and then we get out in this 6 foot 450 nearly kilogram, which is, I don't know, 330 pound bloke jumps out of it. I think that may look pretty trick. So anyway, that's the plan. Is tomorrow we're going to make some new seats, we're going to do that, and we will go from there, and we'll continue on with our other jobs. So here's something else. As you can hear and see, it is raining and it has been pouring all day. Now, very good. Yes, you say, whatever. Well, 2 days ago, Friday, we had a bushfire all weekend, basically, threatening. We were trapped in town. It was on the next valley, or the next mountain. So we're at the top of one mountain, or one, you know, one high. It goes down a valley. On the other high, which is just over the back over there, probably a mile, 1.5 k's away as the crow flies. So not that far. Homes threatened, like it's, they had 2 helicopters, 2 planes, water bombing. I was here flooding our yard with, I had all the sprinklers going. I was hosing everything down, having everything wet, as in case it came through because it was very, very close. But we were trapped in town. We could not get out. The road was blocked off because of the fire. And on the way out of town, half it's burnt everywhere. Okay, now I don't think anyone lost their homes. Maybe one went, but very scary time. And now, 2 days later, it hasn't stopped raining, and it is an absolute quagmire out here. So, go gather that, eh? So anyway, there's a bit of that was a bit of a scary time. I was a little bit worried about that. Anyways, it didn't happen, but yeah, just saying. And now it's raining and pouring, and it has all day. So the fire's gone out now, but yeah, how's the weather anyway? Anyway, lots of dribble. Let's go inside and have dinner, and I'll see you guys in the morning. We are back, and I've done my back. Yes, so I haven't done much today because I've been bedridden, but I come down the Savo to do a little bit, and we've cut up the drum. First cut was no good for my shoulders, but I just did another cut more out of there and cut a little bit off the top, and I think that's not too bad actually. Pretty good in there height wise. Is it as comfortable a seat as this? Well, you'd have to say no, it's not, but I think we can live with it. So we've got some padding on the bottom, and I'll probably make a cushion for the back somehow. I'm not sure what we're going to run. We've got some red leather kicking around still, I think. And this is a blanket. There's a good size. It's a bit faded in places. It's an old blanket. I don't know. Zebra print, maybe? I don't know, something different. I don't know. Realistically, I'm still humming and hawing about the door cards, but yeah, we do have these two slabs. So I've got these two other slabs that have got some black crocodile, some red suede, and some red leather that I could make a cushion cover out of for each one. But yeah, I just grabbed that blanket because the thing's changing so much in my head now. And went, oh, that might be something a bit out there. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're going to have. So anyways, it's not as comfy as what we had. At this stage, we'll leave them like that. I'll stick a block of wood under tomorrow and see if we like them a bit better angled. But at this stage, I think maybe just like that. But yeah, we may angle the front up, but we'll have a look. We'll bolt that in. We'll be able to use our existing holes and bolt into one of the other braces that's underneath. Just bolt them down, and that'll be it. So we just cut it out, ground it, flat with it, put a rubber seal on, and that's pretty good. And as you can see down here, our two holes are missing. So we could bolt it through those two existing seat holes. Now there's something else here. So this is, if you've seen our Oakland video, we just did something with a jerry can. This is the offcut. I think I might do something with that as well in this one. Some sort of a, you'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, I'm going in, it's dark. So I will see, we'll see how we go. Probably be on light duties again tomorrow because my back is really bad. I couldn't even get out of bed this morning. It is in that much pain. So anyways, that's what happens when you lift a heap of concrete slabs, isn't it? Yes, I lifted 10 big concrete stairs into the car that we picked up to finish my staircase, and yeah, hurt myself. Anyway, whinge. Okay, we are back, and I'll just quickly explain how and what we just did. So our drum circumference, so our outside, is approximately 1800 millimeters. So work that out, about 6 foot, I think. So what we've done is we've just pick a spot, any spot on your drum, put a mark. Measure from that 450, which is what's that in inches? Say 18 inches each way. Mark and mark. Now they will be straight across. So that's basically, if you were to cut that straight through, you would split your drum into halves, correct? So then we just put a square on the top there of that mark, give us a little fake line, run a piece of tape top to bottom on both of those marks. Does that make sense? So we've got a vertical tape line. So on this being here and here. So this is just splitting the drum that way. Then what we did is we worked out what we wanted in our back height of our drum. So I first cut this at 600. I'm going to cut it down to there. So I'm going to actually cut that little bit off because I want it a bit lower. But you pick whatever you want as the height of your back of your seat. So you then measure from your base up to that. So I actually did 600, which is 2 foot, and put a line. We then ran a tape from our center line to our center line on that half. We then measured from the top 600 down and put a tape line on this half. Okay, does that make sense? Then we've cut around there, up through our center line, but only from here to here, around there and back down, and then we've split the drum into 2 pieces that way, okay? You have to do it like that, all right? Otherwise, you may stuff up. So then what we've done is I've worked out what I wanted on the base in the front. So this is where your legs will be here, and I've picked that, which is basically 2 inches or close to it, and I picked that as what I want as my front lip. Okay, so what we did is we then worked out our center this way by measuring this, which we know is 900. So we measure our 450 mark here, and we get our center line here, okay? From that, I measured 300 each way. Okay, so I measured 1 foot each way of our center line, which took us approximately here, and that is where I wanted our front little piece done. Does that make sense? We've drawn a line up there and a line up there. We've gone and grabbed anything round, sat that to get our radius point, okay? So we've now got 300 around our little curve coming up. Then we sat our there and there to get our curve. Does that make sense? And we did the same up the top to get our curve. I then went and sat in it and realised that this here for me was too encroaching on my shoulders. Okay, so I wanted this section cut out of it. So I measured back 4 inches and cut 4 inches out of here and here. So you can make these to suit your body, okay? But you've got to start off with half of the drum, okay? Now then you can cut the back section to whatever you want to suit you. You could cut the back section to this little piece here if you wanted. And you can shape the sides however you want to shape the sides, okay? So but that is just what I did, is I've gone back 4 inches from center, done my curve down here, come down, curved here, curved here, curved here like that. So that's how I did mine. You can shape yours any way you want, but that's how I did mine. So just explaining what I was doing with all of that. So this one we will now mark out as our shape, and we will cut this one and we'll throw this one in, and then we'll drum back and we'll see what we're doing for our, so with our seat base and our cushion, we've had a few issues. I couldn't find any red leather. The red leather I had a big piece of black crocodile in it, which I didn't really like when I sat it in there. I actually have, I don't know if you can see it, but we've got a zebra print rug blanket that I thought might look okay. So we tried that, and we had some cushions for that as well, for the back. Now, so the back of this, if we look in, we're going to have our foam in the base, and then we're just going to put a cushion in for like your lumbar support. We're not lining the whole seat. We're just going to have a cushion. So we looked at that, and I was a bit iffy on that. And then if you know our Oakland, you'll know our seat cushions in our Oakland, in that brown crocodile. They are beautiful, and they actually work a treat in here, but brown will not go in this interior. So what I've done, and it was very painstakingly for me, is I've painted one of the cushions in red, not painted, but you know what I mean, leather dyed or whatever you want to call it, in red. So we're going to have the zebra print rug wrapped around the foam on our base, and then we're going to have the red crocodile cushion as our lumbar support, and we'll see. I think it may look it may look quite trick in the end. Now, I've also sat in there with it directly on the floor, and I also sat in there with a block of wood, tilting it up like that, and that was pretty comfy. So I've just got to decide what way I want to go. I do like the fact of it solid on the floor. Having it raised means stuff can get under, rubbish and dirt and what have you. It probably is a tiny bit more comfortable. So I'll just have a think about what I want to do there. I'm not a real fan of having this gap underneath, so I think we may just sit it straight and for now, and if we find them too uncomfortable, we can adjust them later. So anyway, enough dribbling. I just wanted to call in and explain how I cut them. So let's get back on to making them. Okie dokie, we are back a Rooney, and we've got a little bit done today on our light duties. Yes, we have. So we've got our other seat cut, as you can see, and that's what we're going to run. Yes, freak that out, eh? There's a little bit something a bit out there. We're going to run the zebra rug, which is like a mink blanket type thing. we're going to run that now. They'll have to go in and get a good wash because they've actually been sitting on one of my cars as a car cover. Hope they didn't get that washed, but that's what we're going to run. So we've got about 4 inches of foam on the base, and then we've got the blanket wrapped around. Now, it's not finalised yet, as in it's just wrapped around with excess because we may put some extra padding in later. And then we've got 2 of the crocodile leather cushions that we painted red. Now, this ended up being what I liked the most out of all the different scenarios. This I thought looked pretty good, and as you can see over there, it sort of ties in pretty good. We got the red leather door card, and we've got the red cushion, and then we got this little freaky base, which I think actually goes okay. I think that looks pretty good, to tell you the truth. If you look through from the windscreen, I think that's okay. I really do. So then we also, yes, the driver's seat is all bolted in, all drilled and bolted, ain't moving anywhere. We still got to drill and bolt in the passenger seat, but that's easy. We haven't done up our cab bolts as yet either. And I just went and made that. So I've just made a drink, like a center console I started to make, and then I thought, let's make it and turn it into a drink holder. So that is the base of a 20 or a 5-gallon jerry can, a metal jerry can. So that's the base of that. It's about 4 inches of it. And originally I wanted to put it in there, but then after I've made it, I've put a number plate on, drilled some holes for the drinks to go in. And when I've sat it there, the gear shift is going to just smash into the drinks constantly. So that's a bit silly. And if we put it this way, it's too wide and your leg would be under it. So I've ended up putting it up there, and I had it sitting there, and I was just going to leave it as it is. And then I decided to put a couple of number plates on the side, and it's now actually off the trans tunnel. It's about 3/4 of an inch to an inch off, so it's not going to get any heat through there. I thought that might be a little bit trick. And I think that's cool now, like as in we've still got the pattern of our trans tunnel, but you only see snippets. It's like a underneath thing, half hidden. So I know that light's, sorry, a bit in your way, but very hard to get light on the interior. So that's what we've done there. I think that's pretty cool. We've made a set of bomber seats out of a 44-gallon drum for free, of course, because the drum was free. And yeah, like we didn't even sew or anything, guys. Like, we've got sewing machine and stuff, but we didn't even sew anything on this. That's just a cushion. Seat cushion is the foam. You can go get the foam from the shop. That's a blanket that we've just wrapped around it, and that's a cushion off of a seat. Like, that's just to make it more comfy, yeah. locally. So, what did we get done today? I think you've seen all of that in there. We've got the other seat mounted now, and the cab's all done up. So all of that's done in there. I think that's starting to get close. We've still got a little bit more to do in there, but it's starting to get close. So I've got an idea for our dash gauge panel. I think I'm going to do something trick there. We've still got the firewall to do. So I think other than that, we're getting very close on the inside. But yeah, seats both mounted now. Cab's bolted down. So that's all good. We've done our 4-bar bushes. They seem to work a treat. And we've done our rear 4-bar nuts that we were short, that we replaced. We put them on. Then we've come to the back and we've done our hard lid. So I know the light's really bad, but if I can sort of get you in around the place. Now all I've done is varnish the actual square. So as you would have seen, that's we've put our stencil on. We've just misted some paint to give us a guide. So this isn't identical to our logo, but it's very similar, yeah. So then we've die grinded it in, and then we have burnt it, sanded it back. We actually ran over with the flap disc as well to get rid of a bit more, and then we have given one quick stain with the red oak, and then we have hit it with one coat of marine spar, and the varnish. So as you can see, we've only just done that square because I think I want to paint all of these tomorrow. We'll paint all them black, I reckon, and then we'll give the whole hard lid another coat. I think that should look pretty good. So we stand back here. It's very hard because of the overhead lighting. Really plays tricks, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So when we're standing back here, I don't know if you're going to get anywhere where you're going to see it nicely, but that's enough. As you can see, it is pitch black outside. The dog's trainering on. My back's starting to get a bit better, but the painkillers help. Woohoo! So we've still got a little bit more to do in this episode, so we will keep plodding along. So as you can see, we've done the hard lid. It's all finished now. We've gone along and painted all our straps and hinges black, and I think they actually look better. We've given the whole hard lid now another coat of the marine spar. We actually sanded this down again and tried to blend the stain and restained it. I think I got it a bit more even, but yes, we've painted all the hinges, all the runners black, and then varnished the whole hard lid. We've also gone to the front. Yes, we've also gone up to the front and we've mounted the nose cone, but the latches we were going to use on the bonnet I do not like, so we're going to scrap the idea and look for something different to use. So now we are on the rear window. So yes, as you can see, we've just got a piece of our masking paper. We've just gone in and pushed in, and as you can see the little indent line, we've just gone and pushed like this. And pushed it all through like that and created an edge. So we'll now pull this out, and basically that indented piece is this corner here, which is basically where we want to have our window. So we'll cut this out. we'll probably leave it there.
We've got heaps done.
Yes, we've got heaps done in this episode. And in the next one,
You'll probably want to come back.
yes, in the next one, I think we'll stick in there and we'll look at doing our gauges.
And our foot pedals.
And don't forget the steering wheel.
But in this episode, we achieved heaps.
We mounted the nose cone
Properly. We turned one of these.
into these awesome looking bomber seats. We did these zebra printed cushions and a crocodile leather backrest. We painted the dash. We put number plates up here. We made a glove box and a drink holder. We put signs on the firewall. We mounted our new seats and mounted the cab. We did an ignition switch and some decorative pieces. We did the new Nolithane 4-bar bushes and replaced our suspension nuts. We painted all our hinges, burnt in our logo and varnished the hard lid again. And we put in a new window. And there's probably more that I forgot.
But I think you'll agree
That our little 38 Chev budget build.
is turning out a treat.
So with all that said, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And I'll say thanks for watching. And we will see you next week.
Thanks for watching.